In this desolate world, where everything is in ruins, food is hard to come by. However, the children in this bleak place are always searching for anything that might have even a little value because they can only get food if they have something valuable to trade. You see, there's this golem that roams the barren streets, and whenever kids stumble across this walking piece of stone, they always try to offer it something valuable. In return, the golem gives them food. This golem only appears in Sector 50, and nobody knows where it came from or who its owner is. However, it's not always guaranteed that the golem will accept just anything in exchange for food. It has to be something the golem finds valuable, which is why children often end up with nothing in return. Right now, a group of kids is frustrated because the golem just refused to take their flashlight, even though yesterday it accepted one. As angry as they are, they know better than to retaliate. There's always the risk that they might end up dead. There's a saying that golems have been seen entering the streets and killing people. Then there's this white-haired boy, Ray. The moment he spots the golem, he quickly steps in its path and offers everything valuable he's managed to gather. The golem takes note of the items and proceeds to grab the bag. And then, it flips the bag over into its mouth. Seeing the massive haul Ray just traded, all the onlookers are in awe. They have no idea how he managed to get his hands on so many valuable items. What makes it even more frustrating for them is that this isn't the first time Ray has pulled off a trade this big. Meanwhile, the golem starts dropping food supplies, and the amount Ray receives is enough to completely fill his backpack. The kids on the sidelines can't help but feel jealous and angry. It just doesn't make sense to them as to why does this one guy get so much food while they're left starving. At one point, some of them even consider stealing his supplies, but a few of them quickly shut that idea down. Apparently, Ray has a reputation. People call him the Ghost of 17th Street. As Ray walks from Sector 50 towards 17th Street, he suddenly senses the presence of people hiding in the shadows. His senses are so sharp that he can tell exactly how many there are. If he has to be precise, there are 7 people. So, he invites all these sneaky bastards to step out of hiding, especially since he already knows they've been following him for a while now. Enter this fat kid backed up by 6 others. The fatty doesn't forget to give props to our boy's sharp senses because they made sure to stay undetected while trailing him, yet they still got exposed. This fat kid is Ron. And this isn't the first time this fat sucker has pulled a stunt like this. Ray has already warned this shithead not to cross paths with him again. The last warning was crystal clear. If Ron ever showed his face like this again, he wouldn't be able to walk afterward. But Ron doesn't seem to care. Instead, he makes it clear that he's not going anywhere unless Ray hands over his supplies. Just put the fries in the bag, lil bro, or else. Fatty throws in a threat of his own, warning Ray that he won't be walking out of here safe and sound if he refuses. But my guy doesn't buy it for a second. If anyone's about to end up in bad shape, it sure as hell isn't him. Like I told you before, Ray has a reputation. He's the Ghost of 17th Street, a white ghost who moves without making a sound. And anyone who tries to mess with him are the ones who end up in the worst possible situation. But Fatty lets his ego get the best of him. He makes the big mistake of throwing a punch at Ray. But my guy barely even reacts. Just tilts his head slightly and dodges that punch like it's nobody's business. He then uses this brainless fool's own momentum against him, making him trip. But before Fatty can kiss the ground, my guy grabs him by the shirt, then delivers a devastating punch straight into his gut. That one blow is enough to leave this bastard mouth wide open, and he hits the ground like a sack of potatoes. Seeing their so-called boss get wrecked effortlessly, the rest of the group starts flinching in sheer panic. But since they can't just back off in a moment this critical, they make the foolish decision to charge straight at Ray. The first one swings a bat, but Ray ducks just in time, then counters with a brutal elbow smash that turns the guy's face into a bloody mess. He then further follows up, taking down the next 2 just as easily. 1 hit per person. That's all it takes. And just like that, all 6 of them are one with the ground. Ray then turns back to Ron, who, upon seeing his impending doom, is cowering in fear. My guy makes it very clear, just because Ron brought a few more ragtag idiots this time, the outcome was never going to change. As he walks towards the fatty, the sucker finds himself cornered. Ray is now gunning for this bastard's legs in order to keep his promise. He already warned Fatty that if he showed his face again, he wouldn't be able to walk ever again, and my guy plans to keep his word. On the other hand, Fatty pulls out a dagger from behind his back, trying to threaten Ray. His hands are shaking, slick with sweat as he warns Ray not to come any closer. He keeps calling Ray a monster, but deep down, he knows this dagger won't save his sorry ass. Speaking of monster, there's actually a backstory behind that title Ray's been given. You see, ever since he was a child, Ray was very different from others. Whenever he got severe injuries, there was never any expression on his face, and that made people wary of him. Kids his age were supposed to cry when they got hurt, but Ray stayed expressionless. Even in desperate, hopeless times when the other kids cried, Ray was the only one who never felt sorrow, hopelessness, remorse, or anger. Not once did a tear fall from his eyes. and eventually the other kids stopped associating with the weird kid who just didn't react like they did. His lack of emotions left him completely alone. Even Ray himself acknowledges how emotionless he is, and he never wanted to be like this. He always wished to be a normal person, just like any other kid. It had always been his desire to learn and experience this thing called emotion in his life. But even now, 6 years later, he still can't feel anything. However, what he can do is read other people's emotions. And right now, he can tell that Fatty is getting as desperate as he can possibly get. Ray reminds this coward that not using blades is an unspoken rule here. He questions this shithead. Did he bring that knife because he actually planned to stab him from the start? Of course, Fatty spins some bullshit about how he just picked it up from the garbage earlier. But my guy can see right through the lie. Ray doesn't need words to tell when someone is lying. He can tell just by looking at the color of the vessel inside their chest. You see, Ray has the ability to see a world others cannot. Every person has a small vessel within them, and whenever they feel emotions, certain colors of mana fill those vessels. Anger, hate, and love create red mana. Ridicule and apathy show up as blue mana. Joy and excitement result in yellow mana. And there are countless other colors as well, making Ray's world burst with shades that no one else can see. Meanwhile, the Fatty continues to issue threat after threat, trying to intimidate Ray. But it's clear that this bitch is too much of a coward to actually use the sharp dagger he's holding. Ray can see the deep black mana in the bastard's chest, which shows intense fear. With every step Ray takes toward him, the Fatty's fear only intensifies. But our boy, on the other hand, is ready to deliver the punishment this fat sucker truly deserves. A while later, Ray finally reaches his home. As soon as he enters the little tent where the others are staying, he's greeted by a bunch of kids who've been eagerly awaiting his return. The kid with green eyes is Pale, the leader of the underpass children. All the kids crowd around Ray, smiling and clinging to him in happiness, proud to have such a dependable brother. Later, as they sit together, he instructs everyone to show what supplies they've gathered so far. Each kid presents the food they managed to snag. Some have pieces of bubble gum, others have chocolate bars. But it's clear that this isn't nearly enough to feed all 7 people present. Naturally, everyone starts feeling anxious, unsure of how to proceed. This is then that Ray displays his haul, and seeing the copious amount of supplies Ray is having, all of the kids perk up in happiness. Some of the kids even start thinking that Ray must have stolen all of these supplies from the golem. Well, there's a reason why Ray is the only one who manages to bring back this much food every time he goes fishing. You see, the golem only takes magic items with residual mana. Since these kids can't see mana, they have no way of knowing which items are rich with it. So naturally, they end up with nothing from the golem. Now that they finally have enough food, Pale steps up to split it among everyone. Thanks to Ray, they'll actually get to fill their bellies before going to bed tonight. All the kids line up youngest to oldest. The first to receive their share is Josephine, the youngest among them. While the food is being shared, Ray quietly steps outside. He sits alone, deep in thought, reflecting on their miserable situation. No matter how hard they try, it's never enough. At the end of the day, there's always someone going to bed hungry. He thinks about making a trip to the warehouse, where he might be able to gather a big haul. He wants to support these kids no matter the cost. After all, he owes them his life. For a bit of context, let's flash back to a year ago, when Ray was buried in the snow, slowly freezing to death. It was these same kids who found him and pulled him out. At the time, Ray had already accepted death. He thought it was fine to just fade away in the cold. But these kids saved him unconditionally. They didn't expect anything in return. They didn't care about repayment. But Ray has a principle. He always pays his debts. Whether it's a favor or vengeance, he never leaves it unsettled. As he sits there lost in thought, Pale joins him, reminding him that he should get his share of food too. But Ray casually declines, claiming he isn't hungry. Unfortunately, his grumbling stomach betrays him. Without a word, Pale breaks his biscuit bar in half and hands one piece over to Ray. Just then, rain starts pouring, but it's not normal rain. The droplets are black. It seems to be a common occurrence in this desolate world. There are rumors that this black rain is the result of mages using too much magic. Apparently, mages live in the lower numbered sectors. Pale is convinced that the golem is something sent by a mage. But Ray isn't so sure. He thinks the golem might be a machine. Pale quickly disagrees. He's certain that magic is what keeps it moving. Well, Ray doesn't argue, because he's actually seen the golems using magic with his own eyes. Whenever a golem walks around, it sucks up mana from the surrounding atmosphere, drawing it into its core. That mana then mixes within and is expelled as a black gas. So there's a high chance that this gas is the cause of the black rain. Ray is convinced that there has to be a connection between the black rain and the black gas. That's when he suddenly remembers something important. Without another word, he pulls his hoodie up and tells Pale he's heading out for a bit. Naturally, Pale is against this idea. The rain is too heavy today, so much that even rivers are overflowing. But Ray doesn't care. He has to do what he has to do. And with that, he dashes off, leaving Pale sighing in frustration. Of course, Ray has a solid reason for doing this. You see, when it rains, everyone shelters inside their homes to avoid it. They believe that even a single drop of black rain touching you is enough to make you sick. However, Ray knows he can shield himself from the rain, making things easier for him. Once he reaches 18th Street, also known as Limpfoot Hector's Ration Warehouse, he sees